Hello everyone, I am Dr. Girish Raisinghani, Associate Professor, Department of Botany, SPC Government College, Ajmer. Today we are going to discuss the conservation of soil and water resources. As we all know that the human population is continuously growing, the consumption of natural resources is also increasing. Therefore, we need to conserve the natural resources. If we go to the definition of conservation, it is the protection, preservation, management, or restoration of natural environments and the ecological communities that inhabit them, so as to prevent their exploitation, destruction, or degradation. We can say that conservation is generally held to include the management of human use of natural resources for current public benefit and sustainable social and economic utilization. Now, what is the need for conservation? We can say it is to maintain ecological balance for supporting life, to preserve different kinds of species, we can say to preserve the biodiversity, to make the resources available for present and future generation, it's very important, and to ensure the survival of human race. First of all, we'll discuss about in this part, as part one, we'll discuss about the soil resource. Soil as a natural resource occupies a central portion in operation of any ecosystem and sustains all life forms on the planet. Quality of soils is indeed of paramount importance for conservation of biodiversity. Soil degradation is any added substance or unnatural loss or alteration that makes the soil less productive or usable. Thus, it changes the soil nutrient level that results into the reduced plant growth. Now, what are the factors responsible for soil degradation? There are four factors like soil erosion, deforestation, poor farming methods, and overgrazing. Now, in detail, now we'll discuss about the soil conservation. Unless the loss of soil is checked, it would amount to a great loss for mankind. So, to check the loss of soil, the practice of soil conservation was developed. If we define soil conservation, it is a set of management of strategies for prevention of soil being eroded from the earth's surface or becoming chemically altered by overuse, acidification, salinization, or other chemical contamination. If we read about the principles of soil conservation, the actual part of soil conservation is based on certain basic principles, which include protection of soil from impact of raindrops, to slow down the water from concentrating and moving down the slope in a narrow path, to slow down the water movement when it flows along the slope, to encourage more water to enter the soil, to increase the size of particle, reduction in the wind velocity near the ground by growing vegetation cover, ridging the land, etc. To grow the strips of stubble or other vegetation cover which might catch and hold the moving particles of the soil. Now, there are certain methods by which we can conserve the soil. Uh, and these methods can be broadly classified into two types: biological methods and the mechanical methods. Now, in biological methods, these employ the use of plants or vegetational cover. In these, we'll study about the economic practices. Agronomic practices, these are the natural protection by growing vegetation in a manner that reduces soil loss. These are number one, contour farming. Contour farming is a useful method in areas where low rainfall in the preparation of fields with alternate furrows and ridges. Ridges at the same level are known as contours. The water is caught and held in furrows and stored, which reduces runoff and erosion. It also helps in percolation of water in the soil. Next is mulching. Mulch is a protective covering placed over the soil to retain moisture, reduce erosion, and reduce soil moisture evaporation by addition of organic matter to the soil. Plants such as maize stalks, cotton stalks, tobacco stalks, potato tops, etc. are used as mulch. Next is crop rotation. It decreases soil loss and preserves the productivity of land. Next is strip cropping. It involves the planting of crops in rows or strips to check flow of water. It may be contour strip cropping, field strip cropping, or wind strip cropping. Then second is dry farming. This practice is useful for croplands grown in low and moderate rainfall areas, where ordinary farming is at risk. Crop production, animal husbandry, and growing grazing fields are possibilities of checking erosion. Third point is agroecological methods. Grasses such as Cynodon dactylon are utilized as erosion resisting plants. They are grown in strips between the crops. They act as stabilizers when grown in gully and sodding. Such methods include lay farming. This aims to grow grasses in rotation with the field crops, which helps in building up the structure of soil, preventing soil erosion, and improving its fertility. That is retiring lands to grass. It involves to grow grasses on such lands where major proportion of the topsoil has been. Next comes the mechanical methods. They are of two types: basin listing and contour terracing. These are used as supplements to biological methods so as to increase the time of concentration of water and afford protection against damage due to runoff. Basin listing to construct small basin along the contours to retain water, which also reduces its velocity. Next, contour terracing to construct a channel along the slope to intercept and divert the runoff water. This may be and this includes channel terracing to dig channels at suitable intervals and excavated soil deposited as a wide, low ridge along the lower edge of the channel. Next is broad-based ridge terrace to construct ridge along both sides of the channel. There is bench terrace to construct a number of platforms along contours or suitable graded lines across the slope. These are some of the methods by which we can protect the soil. If you can, go on to some other method, that is the best possibilities afforestation. Afforestation, like trees as windbreaks are planted in deserts. Trees, we can call them as windbreaks, which check the velocity of the wind. Windbreaks are planted across the area at 90 degrees to the prevailing wind. They check the spread of sand dunes or blowing away of the fertile topsoil. Plants such as Lawsonia alba, Agave americana, Thievesia, Ziziphus, Acacia nilotica, Dalbergia serve as useful windbreaks. So these are some of the methods by which we can conserve the soil. Now we will discuss the benefit. What are the benefits of soil conservation? Basically, if we say in a broad manner, they promote the soil organisms, maintain soil pH, and prevent soil erosion. Soil conservation refers to various management strategies that are put in place for protecting soil from various factors. For instance, soil conservation helps to avoid soil erosion or damage to soil by salinization, acidification, or overuse. By conserving soil, the following rewards are gained. As I said, it promotes the soil organisms, ensuring that useful soil organisms, especially the macroscopic species, the unharmed is a major advantage of soil conservation. Soil organisms like the earthworm offers several benefits in terms of promoting macronutrient availability and increasing aeration. Actually, though simply burrowing through the soil, the earthworm creates channels for enhancing drainage and aeration processes. The protection of soil organisms in soil conservation thereby boosts its fertility. So it's a very important point. We can say this important point as a benefit of soil conservation. Soil conservation also maintains soil pH. Soil pH normally controls nutrient accessibility to the vegetation. It's very important. Macronutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, sulfur, and magnesium prefer slightly alkaline or neutral soils. Chemical acidification of the soil may cause these nutrients to become inaccessible to the plants, leading to the abnormal plant growth. However, soil conservation practices help maintain proper levels of soil pH, and this ensures that all nutrients can be easily accessed by the plants. Next is prevents soil conservation also prevents soil erosion. Soil erosion refers to the gradual loss of the soil due to flow of wind or water on a piece of land that lifts and moves the small soil particles. While it may not be possible to actually see soil erosion happening, you will only realize that the topmost fertile soil has disappeared once you look out and all you see are gravel and stones. Soil conservation offers the best method of guarding against erosion. building terraces, and introducing new farming practices such as deep tillage acts like a preventing measure against soil erosion. Soil conservation thus might be beneficial for the environment, but most farmers find that undertaking the commended conservation practices is very expensive affair.